Welcome back everyone to the Pawnstorm YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be starting the first episode of my beginner 10-minute opening videos. These videos will be comprised of teaching you the basics of what I think are the best beginner openings to start out with for both sides, both white and the black pieces. I hope you all enjoy. For this first video, we're going to be going with the white pieces, and the first opening is the London system. The London system starts with the move d4. If you're the most common moves after d4 and the moves you want to be going for is if your opponent goes d5. And if they do this, you'll play the bishop to f4. The London system is a very common opening, very common. It's been played many times, and it's also just kind of hard to play against. It's very hard to beat it. Because it's just a very classic opening. It's very easy to learn. You really just need to learn like some of the theory, and then as long as your opponent plays d4 and just or d5 and goes for a more open position, then you're going to be you're going to be better off. So let's just continue here. So after bishop to f4, and let's say your opponent goes less confrontational and more solid. Actually, I'm just going to change the lighting here a little bit. It's a little bit dark in here. Okay, so as I was saying, let's say your opponent goes less confrontational and they go like a move knight to f6. Your next moves are going to be e3. You can play, these are interchangeable. You can go knight to f3 or knight to d2, and then your final moves are going to be c3 and bishop to d3. So let's look at what that's going to look like. So like I said, you can go e3 first. That's fine as well. And your opponent, let's say, goes knight to c6. You can go knight to f3. And they can go after e6. And they're going less confrontational. There is a more confrontational approach. I can cover that in the future in a little bit. But for now, let's go knight to d3. Or sorry, bishop to d3. And after a move like bishop to e7, they want a castle. You can go d2 here, and this is the approach you're going for. So here, these pawns make a little pyramid, and your light square bishop has very nice vision here. And the next moves are going to be after you castle. Let's say, I don't know, they just go bishop to d7. They can go anywhere. Bishop to d7. Your next moves can be planting the knight in the center. Okay, you can even wait because your king is fairly safe here. You can even go here now. And if they take, you can take here. But let's go back. Let's say you get castle and okay, you castle. This is a position now, and from here they have several moves from this position. Again, we're going more for our position. So here, black doesn't have a very nice position. Of course, the move knight to pawn to e5 wouldn't be very good because you can just take, and you don't want that. Instead of e5, maybe they play a move like, I don't know. There's many things you can play for both sides here. There are a few different moves you can play. I'm actually going to go to a different variation, and let's back this up so black's opening is a little bit more pressing in on the center, less or more confrontational. Okay, bishop to f4, knight to f6 here, and let's say we have c5. Okay, if you have c5 here, which if you don't know, c5 is I believe this is it might even be a gambit, but I believe this could be part of the this kind of thing. What is that called? It is the Grunfeld. I believe this is the Grunfeld. This, and I think that's what the Grunfeld is. I studied the Grunfeld. I might even do it. I might even make a video on that. It's a phenomenal opening. C5. Okay, I want you to say this to yourself. I want you to say, c5, If they play c5, I want you to automatically go c3. Okay? And c3 is just going to give you some more stability in the center for your light square bishop eventually, which you still want to develop. So c5, c3. Just say that to yourself. c5, c3. This is an automatic thing because your next moves here are going to be fairly simple. You're just going to leave that pawn there, develop the light square bishop, develop the knight if you like. Here, if they play the move knight to d6, bishop to d6, threatening your bishop, I recommend dropping back. If they take, you want to take with the h-pawn. This gives you very nice vision over here. And if they castle, they could be heading into some, you know, pretty bad stuff. They can't take here, but, you know, it could be some bad stuff here. You don't want that. Okay. Of course, you know, there's moves that'll win you the game on the spot from in this position. Obviously, like if they go here, obviously not a good move, because you can take. You don't want that, right? So yeah, this is not a very fun. This is not a fun position for black after this. But let's say that they don't fall for this. They don't trade, and they don't go bishop to d6, and instead they go bishop to e6. All right, you can castle if you'd like. Also, recommend going knight to d2. This just gives you some more vision in the center. And now if they castle, you can castle, and now you're doing fine. Now your next moves can be, I don't recommend this right away unless you're already developed. Next moves can be queen to b3, attacking this pawn and providing, you know, vision in the center. Also, you can think of more, I guess a less common approach would be after, if you go something like queen to b3, you can even go something like rook to c1, which should be good. Rook to e1, rook to c1, and then go for an eventual pawn push in the center. This could be very good for you in certain positions if your opponent hasn't gained too much space. This is always a good idea. Like I said before, queen to b3 is good. If they go here, you can always go here and then go for this pawn push. Obviously, this is not a good move because you can just take it. If they take here, you'll want to take with the c-pawn. And now you're doing pretty well. I don't know if it's like winning. I wouldn't say it was like winning, but from here, you're doing, you know, you're doing pretty good. And from here, your next moves can be, for me personally, I would go into something like knight to e5. I'm more of an unconventional player though. Knight to e5 is nice for, I would like this because, I don't know. Let's just say black plays something, I don't know. Let's say it's here. Here, you have a choice here, okay? So you can take with the pawn, you can take with the bishop. I would recommend taking the bishop here. Obviously, the pawn is fine, but the pawn structure isn't great. If you take with the bishop, that's fine. Next moves can be something like rook. I would recommend rook a to c1, but that's just me. The point is, if you go rook a to c1, and if they decline the trade, then your e rook has still nice vision on here. So let's back this up here. Let's say here, okay, take. Your bishop also attacks their knight here. So their knight can move. Their knight doesn't have to move. Obviously, move like knight to e4 would not be good because you just lose a piece. You don't lose a piece, but you do lose a pawn. Again, like I said before, I would recommend rook a to c1 because, like, let me just show you. So rook a c1 is good because if they decline the trade, this rook, even though it's blocked by two bishops and a pawn, it's actually a lot better, I would say. Again, this is based on just me. I would like this more than the pawn on a1 because the pawn on a1 is kind of just stuck behind the pawns, the black's pawns. But again, this is just from me speaking. You do not have to go with any of this stuff. This is just my own. This is just me speaking, and I'm just trying to provide you with some things that have worked out for me personally. So, okay. Rook HC1 is always an option. Let us go back now, and let's say that right off the bat, black goes with a more confrontational approach. This could be, you know, right off the bat, they go with this. You know, they could hit you some crazy stuff, okay? If they do this, if they go c5, you know, I would recommend going c3. Like I said before, c5, c3. If they take, you're going to want to take here, develop the knight to c3, develop the knight to f3, and then go e3, and that way you'll get your light square bishop out, and your dark square bishop will already be out. That could look like something like this. Okay? And this is almost like a Globava London now, except that the pawn isn't here, whereas in a Globava London, the pawn is there, but you just, whoops, not that. You just, ignore it, like this. Just give me a second here, here, castles, and you just ignore it and go right off the bat, go knight c3 with the pawn still on c2. The Globava London is for the London players who are not wanting like a long, it's a more of an aggressive way to play London. I'm not going to cover it here. You can go find all kinds of theory on it here. I'm not going to cover it in this video, but again, you can find all kinds of theory and whatnot on it. But I hope this gave you a little bit of a rundown and a little bit of a beginner. I hope this helped with beginner ideas for the London system. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy these 10-minute videos, and like the video. Comment down below what videos you'd like to see in the future, what kind of openings I should cover. And with that being said, I'll see you all next video. May the mates be merry on the chessboard. Hey guys, just wanted to make just one quick note here at the end. I know this first episode was a little long. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to make them as close to 10 minutes or shorter, just as close as I can to that mark, just so we can pack in as much information in as little amount of time. That's it. Again, gonna try to make it as short as I can, but still providing valuable content. Thank you all for watching. See you all in episode number 2.